Well, let's see if it works. What do you see on your end?
Me staring at my phone.
Do you hear anything? What do you see on your end?
Wow, that's a big delay.
That is a big delay. Very long delay.
I look fat. Well, so far nobody's with us but me.
You're the only one with us.
This may be a big old failure.
I don't know. Seems to be working on this end.
Hey, somebody's here. It's I'm sorry, Chris. I am not going to try to say your last name because I don't want to offend you. But hello and thanks for joining.
Absolutely.
We're going to give this thing a few minutes. Of course, we really didn't have a plan for tonight other than to give away these garden planter things.
You know who that is.
I still can't say the last name. What?
Actually, why haven't you changed that?
Oh, is that Mom?
Yeah.
Listen here, Mom. That is not your last name, and nobody on earth can say that.
Apparently, you have to put mom for everything, or she'll never know.
Now that I know who you are, I'm not going to care if I'm offensive by trying to say it. Cusie. I don't know. I feel like I just made a sneezing sound.
Bless you.
Hey, it says 3 people are watching. Hey, you other people, say something so we know who you are and we can acknowledge you. Anyway, like I was starting to say before he interrupted me, we didn't really have a plan for tonight other than to give away these garden planter thingies that we're going to do later and just kind of talk off-grid stuff. So if you guys have questions about anything, we'll be answering those and such.
Or even world happenings, if you want to go that far.
Oh, he's passionate about his world happenings.
I don't say much about world happenings.
But he can.
There's other people out there that voice their opinion and they make it well known, and I just have not voiced my opinion much on that. I've tried to keep our channel, and there's nothing wrong with him doing that. Everybody get freedom of speech, so on so. But I just tried to keep our channel
Free of world happenings.
We just stick with off-grid stuff. We stick with how we live day to day, the things we use, the things that works good for us. And but if you want to talk world stuff, we can do that. You want to talk about them? It's my alias.
Yeah.
Nice job, Mom. I'm going to talk about the restrictions on rainwater catchment. 15-minute cities. There's just a lot of stuff going on that's just awful. Dairies catching on fire. Well, dairies exploding and losing thousands of cows.
Burning alive. It's terrible.
There's a lot of awful things going on there. Bring your tent and your hoe and your shovel.
Well, it says there's 4 people watching. I don't know who these other people are.
Guys, hit the thumbs up. Leave us a comment.
Yeah, ask a question. Let's get some conversation going.
she's gonna go through and read the stuff off. But anyway, before we get too far, we're gonna give away. We have 3 of these Clyde's garden planters. We're gonna give all 3 of them away tonight to somebody in the comments. So you gotta leave a comment.
Congratulations, Mom. You won the first one. Because you left a comment. Which she does do a garden, doesn't she?
I don't know if Mom does a garden anymore or not. Well, we can get you one, Mom. We can.
So you gonna tell them what they are?
The Clyde's garden planters. They come with instructions. They've got everybody's. I mean, they've even got our local city on here for the average frost dates by state and city. And on these garden planters, they've got a frost line. That's upside down. On that side, they've got a frost line,
Which is the red
which
line.
is the red line. You can move that to when your average frost date is. It tells you what plants to plant, what times to plant them. It tells you first plantings. It tells you row spacings. It tells you planting depths.
How much yield?
How much yield out of a 10-foot row. It is a absolutely awesome slide chart.
And it's got a spring and a fall side.
Yep, spring and fall side. Fall's upside down. And then spring on the other side.
Mom says, I started my tomato and pepper plant seeds. They're doing good, and I planted peas, beets, and carrots in my raised beds. That sounds good. We're going to try beets and carrots this year, too, but last year we tried carrots and didn't have really any luck, but we'll see what happens. And then Angie Becker says, hello, all of my seedlings are doing great. That's good. Good news. And since you left a comment, if you would like to have one of these, you are the second winner of these garden planters, Angie. So if you will go to the Florence's Facebook page and send us a message, we will arrange how to get it to you.
And since you guys have got a lot of your spring stuff already done, this also has expected harvest dates for what you plant. So you can flip right over to the fall side once you get your harvest done for the spring planting, and you can go right into what you can plant right in behind it in the fall to get your fall harvest. Before the spring side tells you when to plant after, depending on the plant, before or after the last frost, and the fall side tells you when to plant up until your expected last frost or first frost of the winter.
Yeah.
So we got 2 of them gone already.
Yep, 2 of them are gone.
Boy, you just give them away flying right off the
You said if they leave a comment, they win. So, yeah.
All right, so we only got 1 left. Clyde's garden planter. You guys got to leave us a message.
A comment.
Yeah, leave us a comment. You got to leave us a comment.
We want to talk about stuff. So, yeah. Why don't you, because I don't recall seeing Angie's name on there before on any of our videos. In case she's new or in case somebody else who's watching might be new, why don't you give a little brief about who we are, what we do?
Well, you're a little bit better than that than I am.
I'm drinking my tea. You go for it. You have that soothing voice.
I think she's got something in her tea that I don't have, to be honest.
Ginger. I have ginger in my tea and you don't.
Oh, is that what they're calling it now? So those of you that don't know who we are, we both grew up somewhat in the city. I grew up in the country, moved to the city. Got tangled up with her, my wonderful wife. And we decided to sell everything and move back to the country and go off grid. Now we're growing our own food. We're implementing many off-grid appliances and systems to our home. Been doing it for 2 years now.
May will be 2 years.
May will be 2 years. And we're just trying to live the simple life like the pioneers did.
Although it's really not that simple, honestly. It's hard and it's a lot of work and it keeps us very busy. So simple as in not inundated with technology and things of the world necessarily. Yeah, and the methods are simple in the way that there's just not a lot of mechanics that go into doing things like our laundry and stuff like that. But it's not. I met you at the store. Oh, that's cool. We'll read that comment out loud here in a second. But yeah, it's not. It's simple in the way that it's back to the way things used to be, but it's not simple because we work our butts off, and we don't have a lot of free time that other people have to just go out and do whatever. We're working here a lot, so it's, what it is. But it's rewarding because, like, what was it that I was using? I don't know. I ate something yesterday that I can't remember what I ate yesterday. That's terrible. But part of the food involved something that we had grown here. And it just felt good, because I'm like sitting there eating this food thinking, we did this. I mean, obviously God grew the food, but he allowed us to. And he has allowed us to come across all the knowledge we need to do these things. And it's just really rewarding. So, yeah, it's worth all the work, I think.
We had fermented cherry tomatoes.
That wasn't yesterday. Maybe I don't have my days together either.
I was going to say.
So Angie says, Angie says, I actually met you at that store I won't shop at anymore when I went to meet Doug and Stacy. You slept in your car. We did sleep in our car. We went to this place in Amish country called Layman's, and that's a whole big long story as to why we aren't really going there ourselves anymore. But Doug and Stacy, who are the off-grid people that we learned everything from and that we watch on YouTube, they were going to be there the next day doing a whole day's worth of like Q&A and classes and stuff like that. And the time before that we went, we stayed in a small, well, it was not small, it was a tiny house, like tinier than our tiny house, like a Airbnb. That's what it was, right?
Oh, it was small.
Yeah. And we stayed overnight in one of those, but this time we kind of
I had work that day.
And we went about booking too late too, and we
Yeah.
couldn't find anything that was reasonably priced, and it was not too cold, so we just went up to Layman's in the parking lot and slept in our car that night so we could be there early the next day to get going for these classes. We were dedicated to this stuff, let me tell you.
And speaking of that other store, we are still to this day actually in the affiliate program for them. And we didn't go out and make it public for everybody to know that we were. But we currently still are. We haven't, like I said, we haven't made it public. Haven't said anything to anybody. I personally called, and I've got the guy's name in my phone, but you guys are on my phone. My phone's up there.
Yeah, it's recording right now.
I called and talked to the guy that had bought Layman's. And this was before the whole Walmart fiasco come out. This was right when Doug dropped the bomb on what was going on with Layman's. Because when he dropped the bomb, I was like, oh, what? Because nobody knew what was going on. So, being that we were in the mix of that, I thought, I'm going to call and talk to this guy. And I don't know if we got the I'll give you what you want to hear speech.
I kind of felt that way. Long story short, because you probably don't even know what he's talking about, some of you, but Layman's was a family business, and the patriarch of the family passed away, and all the children sold out to another company, and they started, let's just say, supporting some practices that we can't get on board with, to make it simple.
And now they've partnered with Walmart, which we all know about Walmart. And, so we didn't pursue it any farther after that.
It's not family business anymore.
Yeah.
It's not like it used to be. They've just sold out like everybody else.
And they're not the only place that you can get off-grid stuff. They're not. You can get it many, many other places. But for those of us in this area, it was just convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was only a 2-hour drive for us. I mean, that wasn't nothing.
Another comment from our Tyga. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. They just hopped on, want to know what they missed. We haven't really talked about a whole lot yet. And there is a delay here with the comments. So like when I say something and then you comment, it doesn't show, or doesn't, I don't know, me answering or him answering or whatever doesn't come immediately after we see your comment. There's a pretty hefty delay.
This
so
isn't I am.
if we don't answer you right away, it's because of that.
Do you know what I am is?
Yes, it's a messenger. So far all we've done, and our Tyga, you are the third person to comment. So you are our last winner of this, and go ahead and explain this again if you don't mind, since they just joined and may not have seen this part.
Okay, since you didn't see this part, this is Clyde's garden planner for the spring and the fall. It has a red frost line. It's a slide chart, and it comes with all the information that you need for your frost dates. And this will aid in planting your garden so you can plant the proper vegetable at the right time, and you're not it's taking the guesswork out of it. Tells you how much to seed, when to seed, what the when you could expect harvest, how early. It's a great slide chart. So you are the third and final winner. So go ahead and message us
on our Facebook page. Go to the Florences. That's our Facebook page, and you'll see our logo, same as what's on here. And just send us a message, and we'll arrange how to get it to you.
Yep.
So they also said, oh, she says just a nickname. Her name is Rebecca. Well, hello, Rebecca. Oh, she has a Clyde's chart already. So she said we could pass it on to somebody else. Okay, so if somebody else wants to comment, you can be our final winner of our last Clyde's chart. So she says, do you show how you do things off-grid, cooking, cleaning, toilets, etc.? So yes, we have several videos. We actually begin this channel with the build of our house, so you can see the whole process of the house build if you go back through our old videos. But we have shown videos of our compost toilet systems. We have shown videos of, we haven't done anything for cleaning.
No.
And we've done very little for cooking. So we will show you that stuff.
Where's your jar? Is this it?
Yeah, I was going to get that out actually. And
well, you ain't got nothing.
go ahead and grab me the vinegar behind the trash can there. And we'll talk about cleaning right now. And then we will
well, you got this one full.
On a little tour, bring that too. A little tour of our stove here and show you the cooking. But
where's the vinegar?
Behind the trash can.
I see it there.
So right now, I'll show you what we do for cleaning. So I have this mason jar here that I save orange peels in. And I usually wait, excuse me, Leonard. So I get like 2 or 3 oranges worth of peels, which there are 2 oranges worth of peels in here right now. And then I will fill this jar up with vinegar. So let's go ahead and do that. And I started keeping this wax paper under the lid because the vinegar literally ate through my last lid.
And lids are expensive.
So, all right.
I don't think more tea
I have enough vinegar to fill up this jar all the way, but...
You need the other one?
No, this is fine for now. So this is just white vinegar that we get at Sam's Club. We don't use it for anything else but this. So then you let these orange peels sit in this vinegar for many days, and it starts to pull everything out of the oranges into the vinegar. And the vinegar by itself is a great disinfectant, but when you put citrus with it too, it just doubles the power of everything. So then I will take this glass spray bottle and make sure it's glass because the vinegar will eat through plastic over time as well. So, and I usually fill it up to about here in the bottom with my concentrated vinegar citrus solution, and then the rest of it up with water. And that's how we clean everything in this house. We have pets too, as you can see. So we wanted to make sure that whatever I'm cleaning with is safe in case they come in contact with it. But also as part of our effort to live a more clean lifestyle, we don't want any chemicals in this house. So this is what we clean: our countertops, our floors. I'll take the concentrated solution and dump in my sink and put water in the sink and get my mop head wet and mop the floor with that. Clean the shower, the toilet, the you know, sinks, everything with this vinegar solution. And it smells really good. I mean, he hates the smell of vinegar, but it also smells like oranges
do.
at the
I
same
can't
time.
stand it. Sorry, guys. I'm over here dipping out some honey from
And
my
then
tea.
the other part of cleaning, as far as off-grid stuff goes, we have a broom, obviously, for sweeping the floors. However, we do, and we did a video on this too, but I'll go ahead and show you now because it's right underneath me. We have this DeWalt vacuum cleaner, and because we have solar power, we are able to charge our batteries. And you just stick the battery on here. It comes with a long hose and this little attachment for the floors, and that's how I sweep my floors. If it's the winter time and we don't have a lot of sun, we don't have enough to charge the batteries very often, then I still use the broom, but obviously the vacuum does a better job. And then as far as a mop, I have I can't even remember what it's called because I've had it so long, a Japanese stick mop. Let me get it, I'll show you real quick. Okay, so this is literally, I mean, I bought it and put it together, but it's literally 2 dowel rods, like a fat one and a skinny one stuck together. And you wrap, there's a specific way you have to wrap a cloth, which I just use a old bath towel that I cut in half. And you wrap it around this bottom portion here, and then you just mop the floors. And you know, it's earth friendly because if it ever breaks, you can just burn it or throw it out in your compost or whatever, and you don't have to buy Swiffer heads or any other ridiculous mop heads that cost money. And it lasts forever, really. I mean, I've had this thing for probably almost 10 years now.
Strong, yeah, strong enough for disinfecting raw meats.
Disinfecting meat?
Disinfecting raw meats.
It's like disinfecting the meat itself, or disinfecting like a cutting board after you've used the meat on it.
I mean, we wash our cutting board with.
We just wash our cutting board with soap and water, but I've never disinfected meat itself. So maybe clarify what you mean by that, because I'm not really sure how to answer that question. I want to make sure we answer it properly, but from what I've been told and in my research that I've done, the vinegar and citrus together kills most like bacteria and viruses and stuff like that, even better than Lysol. So maybe that is helpful information. Of course, I'm not a doctor or a scientist or anything like that, but it definitely hasn't done us wrong so
As
far.
always, do your own research.
Yeah.
As always.
Oh, yes.
Just because it works for us doesn't mean it works for you.
Cooking. So, in the winter time and like this evening, because even though it was warm today, it was chilly this evening, we cook on our wood stove, which I will grab the camera and show you real quick. Say goodbye to Andy for a moment. So right here is our wood stove, and this is our heat source for our house, and it is also our cold weather cooking device. As you can see on the top, we have, oh gosh, that's close, the skillets sitting here. We keep a pan of water right there on the stove at all times to kind of put moisture into the air. Our tea kettle right there sits there with water in it ready to make tea most of the evenings, and we just cook on the top of that, you know, in the pans obviously. And then up here we have on the right, you'll see up there trivets. So if we want to cook on low heat or lower heat, we put it up on a trivet. If we want to cook on lower heat, we put the pan on 2 trivets.
That's simmer and medium heat.
Yeah,
and
high heat is take it off the trivets and put it right in the center. And then when we're not using the skillets, we hang them up here on this beam, which is part of the support for our house actually. So yeah, that's how we cook in the winter time. And then in the summer, hello again to you. In the summertime, we have a Blackstone grill on the porch, which we have already gotten it out and used it a couple times. But we keep that Blackstone grill on the porch, and we use that in the warm months when we can't run this thing.
And if anything would ever happen to that, we've got a fire ring out behind the house.
Yep.
We can cook on top of the fire ring. We also have an all-American sun oven.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about the sun oven because we just got it last summer, and we've only used it a couple times because it was like end of summer when we got it, and then it got cold and sad outside.
But we do have a couple videos, or at least one video on the sun oven. I know one video that I did on the sun oven was in the middle of winter, It was 26 degrees outside, I
Just
think,
to
that
see
day.
if it would work.
And it worked flawlessly.
Yeah.
But
We made a roast.
I did a
didn't we?
roast
And
and
we
I did some
hard-boiled
eggs.
Well, they were baked, I guess, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was great.
But we have several different options as far as cooking. Doesn't matter, what time of year it is. You can use the sun oven all year round. At least with the sun
Yeah.
oven, if you can cast your shadow, you can cook with it.
You always want to back up, and you want to back up for your backup in case your backup fails. So we can cook stuff around here.
A wise man once said, "One is none, two is one, and three is done." Leave a comment if you know who that is. You know who that is.
I do.
Just don't say it.
Basically, have one more method than you think you need. Now, we don't really have backups for our solar other than the generator.
She said cleaning up after cutting the meats.
Oh, yeah. I do that. Cleaning up after cutting the meats with the vinegar spray. What I usually do is wash my cutting board with soap and water if I've cut raw meat on it. He doesn't do this, but I do because we use the same cutting board for vegetables. And I know that the knife kind of leaves the little nicks in the wood, and I'm a little more paranoid about that than he is. So I'll wash it with soap and water first, and then I'll spray it with my vinegar citrus solution, let it sit for a few minutes so it can like get down in the grooves, and then I'll rinse and wipe that off. So yeah, I do that, and we've not got sick yet from cooking. So
now, see, I like, depending on what it is, like my meat, I like it somewhat raw.
chicken?
I said depending on the meat, not chicken.
Like
She didn't specify a certain meat.
I was just thinking about chicken because that's what we had for dinner.
She didn't specify a certain meat, like my, steaks and stuff like that. I like to, knock the horns off of it, kick it in the hind end,
That's
send it out the
disgusting.
door, and I'll eat it.
I like mine. Well, of course, I don't really eat steak that much. I'm just not a steak fan. But if I am going to eat steak, you have to play hockey with it. That's how I like mine.
You don't eat steak. You eat. You
If
just might as well go out there and chew on a
It
rock.
can't be pink inside at all, or I don't eat it.
Yeah,
Period.
Go out there and chew on a rock.
No, chewing a rock. Oh,
You
but
can knock a bull over with the stuff that
did
you
we
eat.
cover all her categories?
I was thinking on chicken too. Almost all else is rare and delicious. There you go.
Freaks me out,
Right
guys. Freaks
See?
me out. No, I don't want my food to bleed. That's just not right.
When I cut into it, I want to hear it go mrrr for the very
Oh,
last
you don't.
time.
You had a steak somewhere. I gotta get some more hot water. Excuse me. But you had a steak somewhere we went that you said was even too raw for
yeah,
you.
I had a steak one time. I don't remember where we were at, but I couldn't eat it. I mean, if it was on the grill, I mean, it wasn't even on there long enough to put a grill mark on it, and they just shipped it out. And I'm like, whoa, man, that was rough. Couldn't do that one.
What else do we do here off grid? Because Rebecca, is it Rebecca? Is that her name again? I forget things really fast.
I don't know.
Oh,
Which
down
one are
here.
you looking at?
Yeah, Rebecca. I think she's fairly newish to our channel as far as the people that are watching now. So, just trying to think of what else we could share with you that you might have questions about or something.
We got tons and tons of videos.
Yeah, we do.
Everything from fermenting.
Not as many as Doug and Stacy, but
everything
we do.
from fermenting to making butter to building our entire tiny house ourselves.
And I just made tooth powder yesterday or the day before, something like that. This within the last few days, and we made a video on that. We make our own deodorant, and it works pretty well.
I don't have any issue with it.
I don't either. What else? There's some things that we don't make on our own yet that I would like to get into. I have a list somewhere, if I can find it, somewhere in this house.
The queen of lists.
I like lists. Helps me
Oh,
remember
man.
things, but like laundry soap is one of them. We currently do not make our own laundry soap. We currently buy that, but it is something that I would like to do. We have soap nuts. I've not tried that for our laundry yet, but I have made shampoo out of it before, and it worked pretty well. So that's something I'm going to try again. But we're just kind of slowly trying to. We have rid our house of chemicals. I think we've pretty much got all of them out. Because even the stuff we buy is natural stuff, plant-based and all that.
Like dish soap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff's all
Yeah,
plant-based.
we buy our dish soap too, but that's kind of a hard thing to make as well. But yeah, we buy plant-based
I don't think there's any chemicals
dish
in
soap
this
from our
house.
local Whole Foods type store.
Vinegar's the most potent thing we
Even
got.
our shampoo, we use a shampoo bar from the brand called Ethique, I think is how you pronounce it. And it is all, natural ingredients, chemical free as well. But
And the pink one's the best.
there's some stuff that we buy like that I would like to do more research on and actually end up making ourselves eventually.
And then we have our like our hand soap, body wash soap company here local to us. They make the soap right there on the spot, and we buy it from them. We can buy it in bulk from them. We can buy the whole log of soap instead of buying individual bars, and we cut it
Yeah.
ourselves. So, I mean, you got to pick your battles. I mean,
We could make our own soap, but my goodness, it's so time consuming. And we would still have to buy the ingredients to make the soap and then put in all the work after purchasing everything. So we might as well just purchase the soap from
Okay.
somebody who makes it here.
well, I was corrected.
About what?
I was corrected. The red in the cooked meat is not blood. It's a protein called myoglobin. You're welcome.
Oh, it's still gross, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Still gross.
We got the doctor in the house.
Yeah.
Well, she's got enough years under her belt to be a doctor.
So we've got 6 people watching, and we have only given away 2 of Clyde's garden planters. So somebody is not commenting. I mean, maybe you don't want it, and that's fine. But we'd still love to hear from you anyway. Of course, one of those 6 people is me on this phone. So we have 5 people watching, I guess.
But as far as it's good to support local businesses too. Yes,
We love
absolutely.
this local business that makes the soap. She makes lots of things. I mean, it's kind of like what do I even compare it to? There's no chain store that's like that to compare it to. She's got essential oils, she has soap, she has shampoo, she's got various hair products and like health and wellness, hygiene, that kind of thing that she all makes
Cups.
herself. Yeah, she doesn't make these cups, but she does have a local artisan make them and bring them in. So that's pretty cool. She does teas and things like that. So we try to support her. And she brings in a lot of products that she doesn't make. Like we buy our protein powder for our shakes and stuff from her. But she does a lot of research before she brings in somebody else's product to make sure that it's whole food and, really up to her standards. So we support her whenever we can.
Yeah, but with supporting that kind of stuff also comes with a cost. So you pay a little bit more, but you get a better
Yeah, it's
product.
expensive. But we don't have to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't have time to make soap.
No.
So
I mean, I have a hard time just trying to keep up with butter, and then we're making
No.
whey for our ferments on top of that.
you don't have a hard time keeping up with butter. What happens is, if he's being honest with you, is he says, because his family owns a dairy farm, okay? So he says, I'm going to go over to Uncle Dave's and get some cream to make butter. So he goes over there and he buys cream and then he sticks it in his coffee every day and butter never happens.
Angie said, I just made homemade hairspray. Works pretty good.
Really? I would be interested in having your recipe. So if you don't mind sharing, that's pretty cool. I haven't used hairspray in years because it's just toxic.
Do you have a video on it? Have you made a video on how you made it?
Yeah, that'd be very
Share that
interesting
video
to
with
try.
us if you haven't.
Because, I curl my hair sometimes when I feel like it, but it would be nice to have something to make it stay. Because I have really straight, sad hair. Anyway. What else was I going to say? Oh, when I was thinking about the soap, I was thinking about how we are trying to store up some things because the soap is one of the things that we need to order a spare log. We talked recently with each other about our retirement plan and how it's not really going to be all about the money now that we've changed our mindset and started living this way. We have totes up in our loft, one for bathroom, one for kitchen, that we have started like storing away extra stuff in, stuff that doesn't really expire. So We're saving toilet paper. We've got
You are not saving toilet paper.
well, we've used it
If
out of it. I
she's
have to put
really
it
telling
back.
you the truth, all right.
I haven't gone to the store to get
If she's
downstairs
really
toilet
telling you the
paper.
truth, she'll be like, "Hey, go upstairs and get a roll of toilet paper." And I'm like, "Didn't you just get toilet paper?" She was like, "No, I didn't make it to the store." So what was in the tote for it to be saved keeps getting used out of
I
because
have
she
to
didn't go to the
restock
store.
it then. But basically, our plan is to have a designated tote for each category of the house, and store up things that take forever to expire, so that if we get to a point where this cashless society that we are heading towards, and maybe if they make you do a certain thing to be able to purchase stuff, and we don't have that certain thing, we'll have some stuff.
Unfortunately, it's coming.
So,
CBDCs, social scores.
we've got extra shampoo up there. I mean, some of the stuff we're not keeping a lot of because shampoo is not necessary for living, but anything that is absolutely necessary for staying alive or for maintaining good health, we are stockpiling a little bit so that we can be prepared for whatever happens. And if it gets to that point where we can't go out and buy something, we'll have it. So, are you guys doing anything like that? Are you preparing for the awful things to come, or,
And
what's
we
that
try
look
not
like
to
for
be
you?
doom and gloom, but we're also not, of course, you guys know we don't spread this all over the place. We're not doom and gloom trying to, make views off of this. But we're also not the people that are an ostrich. We don't just go stick our head in the sands and la la la, nothing's happening. We're in the background listening, and we're seeing what's going on, so we're going to prepare for it.
Yeah. That's scary.
Conspiracy theorists and preppers and all that good stuff. We've gotten called a lot of names.
And we're not going to be crazy. One day, people will look and be like, wow, they knew what they were talking about. And I feel like we have a good head start going here. So, I mean, we're not going nuts. We're not hoarding, like, mass quantities of stuff. We're not those crazy people that went to the store at the first of COVID and buying all the toilet paper and all the milk and bread. It's nobody had any, that they could go buy. Like, we're not those people. We're just trying to save up. For instance, when I go buy a bottle of dish soap because I need one for the house, maybe I'll buy an extra one to stick in our storage tote. Just stuff like that. Just so we can be ready for something. Anyway.
And as far as, the other stuff we do, we do reviews on things. I put out a couple shorts today about the Works cart. Obviously, springtime's coming. We've got sweet potato starts over here in the jars right at the moment. So we've got a lot of videos out on that kind of stuff. Oh, Joe's here.
Joe.
Ewing.
Cousin Joe. Hello, Cousin Joe.
I have a surprise for you guys. You can pick it up Thursday.
Oh, gosh. That could be good. It could be funny. It could be anything coming from him.
You walk in the house first.
Oh, thanks. Throw me under the knife there.
Can you make a video on how you organize your bulk backup items? Bulk/backup items.
Okay, yeah.
Organize.
We can do that. We don't have a whole lot of it yet, but I can show you what we do have. We'll try to get that out in the next couple days.
I mean, as far as some of the stuff that I've done, of course, we have our Berkey, which we've also made a video on. In our crawl space where we keep all of our ferments, all of our foods and stuff.
We've never given a tour of the crawl space, I don't think. So we'll make that a part of it.
Know. But I've got 48. It's either 48 or 50 gallons of water that's already been ran through the Berkey in brand new sealed jugs in the crawl space with the rest of our foods.
Yeah. That's our emergency water. And we're not horribly organized yet under there. It's only 4 feet deep, so you can't stand up. But it is fully cement, and we've got a creeper under there, so it's easy to go around. But what I'd like to do is put all this stuff in all these containers on wheels so that we can move stuff around. And
The Angie asked, "Where do you store your ferments? Do you have a root cellar?" Under when we built this house, in the original plans, I wanted the crawl space of the house to be not sealed. Obviously, you can't
We could
seal
show
it
'em.
up, but I wanted it to be as root cellar ish as you could get per se. Oh, I can make a video showing you guys underneath. Also on the day by day builds on our tiny house build, it shows how we did the crawl space. But it's 4 blocks. It's got a 4-inch thick concrete floor. There is no access points from the outside. The only access point is in the house,
In the floor.
in the floor. I mean, it is completely. I mean, it's beautiful down there. Got lights that we plug in, and it stays ground temperature down there. I mean, in the summertime,
It's very cool down there.
it can be 80, 90 degrees outside, and you crawl down in the crawl space, and it's like,
It's probably 40.
oh, it's chilly. So, and there, like I said, there's nothing from the outside, so I don't have any light coming in. So my
But
ferments,
somehow we still get spiders under there.
that happens.
It's irritating.
But
It creeps me out.
we keep all of our ferments down there, and I mean, we haven't had any issue with.
No, it's cool enough. You know, once you ferment, because we don't do any canning, we ferment everything. Part of that is because canning takes forever to do, and it's really hard when you cook on a wood stove or even on the grill sometimes to regulate the heat and even to run the grill long enough to can stuff. We'd go through so much propane, wouldn't we? Just running it for hours and hours without stopping. And so when we learned about fermenting, we decided that's how we wanted to go because it also preserves the living aspect of the food. So when you consume the food that's been fermented, it's so, so good for you and full of nutrients. But anyway, after you have prepared the ferment and you've taken off the fermenting lid and put on the regular lid when the process is finished, it will still continue to ferment, but being in a cool space like that under the house, it slows it way down, so it ferments a lot slower after its initial, process is done. So that's why we keep it down there.
Put a hedge apple in there, hedge apple fruit, and keep the spiders will leave. Oh,
Is that
I've
them
heard about
ugly,
that.
bumpy looking
Ugly green
things?
looking things. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know where to find them, but I'll look into that.
Rebecca's question: do you have a backup idea for filters for the Berkey? She's talking about the Berkey. If we can't purchase them, and
We don't really,
we have thought about buying more.
just to store them.
Now, if you go back and do your research on, the pioneer days, and this even relates to like pools because they sort of use this in pools, and making biodiesel because I've dabbled a little bit in biodiesel and I know how that works. They make what you'll do is you'll get a barrel of some sort of container and you'll layer it. You'll layer it from coarse to fine, from top to bottom.
Of course, to find what?
Media. You'll
Like
have
rocks and stuff?
For instance, at the very bottom, you'll have a very fine sand, and then as you go up, you'll have a little bit more of a rock as it goes up, like pebbles and so on. And just right above your sand, you'll have a layer of charcoal. You can use activated charcoal. You can use charcoal briquettes that you bust up and put in there. And then you'll put bigger rock as you go up that way when the water comes in. Because obviously, if you're in this kind of situation, there's no city water. You're going to be catching rainwater and the stuff that comes off the roof. As it filters down through the rocks in that container and gets to the charcoal, then it will then purify it just like the Berkey filters do. And when it comes out the bottom through the very fine sand, it'll be nice clean water. So there's ways to get around that. If you do your research and look these things up, you can build these systems and you can have them sitting in your garage. You can have them sitting in your barn. I mean, you can put them anywhere. So when the inevitable happens, you've got that ready to stick underneath your gutter and get your water for you.
But ideally, too, we would want to have extra filters as a part of our retirement plan, so that if it gets to the point we can't purchase any, then we've got some because they do last a long time. Didn't you say they could filter 600 gallons before they have to be cleaned out or replaced in the Berkey? I mean, I know the charcoal ones can be used for many years because you can keep rinsing them.
Now, there's people out there that say the charcoal only, not the fluoride. The charcoal only can be cleaned, washed, and reused. I don't know if that is true. I've seen people do it. But
if we were using rainwater, we wouldn't need to filter out fluoride anyway.
yeah, we've had this Berkey for since we built the house, so it may be 2 years.
And we've not changed the filters
And
yet.
we
The water
haven't-
still tastes great.
We haven't had to change the water. We haven't noticed any issues with that. So, I mean, if you for 2 years and still going strong.
If you hear us talking about if we use rainwater, excuse me, we do have city water right now. We've done a lot of talking about that. That's the only utility we have. It's the only on-grid thing we have. We had talked about putting in a system like Doug and Stacy have with the big tanks and, all that. But it's a lot of money, honestly. And the barn that we have right now is not suited for that kind of thing. The barn actually needs replaced as well, which is also a lot of money. And we would have to have an appropriate building to keep the tanks from freezing so that we could insulate the room that they were in. And it's just financially something we can't do in the foreseeable future.
And the only thing that we use city water for right now is to take a shower and in the wintertime take a shower and
We
do
use
dishes.
it for everything in the winter.
I mean, but for summertime, laundry's done out of the rain barrel. Washing the buckets for the compost station's done out of a rain barrel. The donkey gets watered with a rain barrel.
Yeah.
The chicken, everything gets done with rain barrels because we have those all set up, which are set up right now.
Yeah.
But, the only thing we use the city water for is the sink and the shower.
And another reason we decided against doing the complete rainwater system was not only because financially it's impossible for us right now, but because if we got to the point where we couldn't access our city water anymore, we're talking end of days kind of stuff when things are, if things get really bad. We've got literally right down the end of our driveway, the people who live at the end of our driveway we're good friends with, they've got river access right there. This whole neighborhood that we are in, yes, we're out in the country, but it's still kind of a neighborhood because there's a lot of houses sprinkled out through here. There's pond after pond after pond. Like I said, the river is right down at the end of the driveway. So we could go bathe in a pond if we had to. We could bathe in the river if we had to. We could cart water up here if we weren't getting enough rain, or if it's the winter time, we can melt snow, melt ice, whatever we have to do. There's enough water around us that isn't going anywhere that, we'd be fine in an emergency situation as long as we have stuff to drink. End of time situation, bathing is optional. Washing your laundry is optional. You don't need that to survive. So we just kind of look at it that way, that if it gets that bad, then we'd still be okay because there's water everywhere around us. So.
And water is a very important thing. One thing that kind of, you hear everybody talking about prepping food. You hear everybody talking about saving this and that and the other. And there's not very many people talking about water. And with the issue of the restrictions that they're trying to put into place for rainwater catchment, the personal wells that individuals have paid for themselves, they have drilled them, had a company come in and drill for, they paid for it on their property without any government assistance, and they're coming in and putting meters on those wells to see how much water you're using.
I didn't know that. That's none of their business.
This is a big rabbit hole.
I can't get into this stuff too much like he does because it's too depressing and I can't handle it.
But, and we talked about all this stuff, and if we live in a climate to where, we have all 4 seasons. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we have cold. But people talk about storing water. and worrying about it freezing and having a place for it to store. I mean, for us and for me specifically, I want wood because you can get water out of wood. I mean, wood is an extremely awesome source for water. You can get so much water out of wood, it would surprise you. And I've talked to a few people about this, and they're like, "You are absolutely nuts. You cannot get water out of wood." And I'm sure you're probably thinking the same thing. How in the world is he getting water out of wood? In the wintertime here, we get snow. Okay? You take that big pot over there that she showed you, or our big canner that we got sitting out in the barn, and you fill it up with snow, and you bring it in here and set it on top of the stove and let it warm up. And what do you got?
You're not. I was thinking you were like gonna squeeze a log.
And see, people don't think about that.
But yeah, if you got a warm house, you can melt snow and ice.
And you've got water. I mean,
and it rains here a lot. Even in the winter, it rains here a lot. So
I'm more worried about my wood
okay.
storage than I am water at this point. Because like she said, we got a lot of it around. Wintertime comes, we bring it in. I mean, we got the sun oven. We have a lot of bright, sunny days outside in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the sun glaring off the snow just tears you up. All we got to do is put some jars of water inside the sun oven on a nice, bright, sunny day, and we got water in mason jars. And with the water purification gauge that comes with the sun oven, you can actually purify the water in the sun oven and be able to drink it. So,
which we haven't tried yet, but yeah, we're going to be experimenting a lot more with that sun oven this summer. So yeah.
What we got there? You got another comment?
And I'm curious about getting water out of wood. I live in a high altitude desert. Usually doesn't snow much where I'm at. An average rainfall of 8 inches a year. Wow, that's not very much rain.
Okay, well, your situation's a little bit different. Yeah, you're not going to get water out of wood for you.
You didn't mean actually squeezing wood and getting water out of it.
I know.
Did you?
No, I did not mean that. Huh. I meant using the wood heat
I think
to melt
that's
the
what
snow.
We all thought.
So no, using the wood heat to melt the
Rebecca,
snow.
Sorry, Rebecca, he didn't mean squeezing wood. I thought he meant squeezing wood.
No, if you're in a desert area, yeah. I mean, you have to have and you're on rainwater, you have to have an extremely large water system so you can catch as much rain as you can with the short little time that you have of the rainy
8 inches
season.
A year. That's insane.
She'd have to have a warehouse-sized barn. I mean...
What was I going to ask her? I literally just thought of a question to ask you. She said, "Oh, laughing, crying face." Yeah, I feel stupid too. Don't feel bad. Because I'm sitting here thinking, okay, a freshly cut pine tree is pretty wet inside. I've seen water.
No.
I've seen water seeping and bubbling out of wood that we've had freshly cut and bring in to burn. I was thinking, okay, maybe if you put it in a press or something.
No.
Yeah. Oh, do you get... I remember what I was going to ask you. You leave it high altitude. So what is your winter like then? If you live in the desert, like, do you get one at all? Of any sort? I've never been to the desert, so I don't know. What's it like in the winter months for you there? I'd be interested to know.
I don't know. When we talked to Eddie, he said he was up north somewhere, out west, but in the northern part of it, he said the snow was like powder.
Yeah, because there was no humidity.
Yeah.
To make it wet.
Yeah, because we have humidity here, and the snow weighs a ton.
Interesting.
And it packs down like concrete. It's awful. I don't like snow. I don't like cold.
When we were talking about backups earlier, this has nothing to do with anything we're talking about now, but I just stared at our big box light here that we have for the filming. And we do, like, for lighting, we have a few options for that. We started out with oil lamps.
That was all
when we
had.
First built the house. Yeah, like he said, that is all we had to begin with. And it's not really self-sustaining because you have to buy the oil, and all of that. But it worked, and we liked them. But then his grandfather, who has passed away now, what was it, like almost a year ago? It was for your birthday a year ago. Bought us this solar light bulb system. It's this tiny little solar box about this big, which is what we're actually using now. And you plug these 3 USB light bulbs into it, which we have hanging from our ceiling during the evening. And then you take the box outside, the solar box outside during the day, and plug it into its very own solar solar panel. I cannot talk. So that's what we use now. We rarely use the oil lamps unless we have either one, forgotten to charge the light box,
Which does happen quite often.
or 2, we haven't had enough sun for it to matter to charge the light box. So then we pull out the oil lamps as a backup. But aside from the solar box and the oil lamps, we have no other lighting options, because we also figured that that's not really necessary for survival. And if it got to that point where we didn't have any lighting whatsoever, we would just go to bed when it got dark. And that's just the way it is. I mean, that's what they did before candles and stuff even existed. So
Yep, go to bed when it gets dark.
yeah, we're trying to mostly focus on what do we need to keep us alive if things get bad. So, and then we'll add the other things in, like, that would just be nice to have. But
Yeah, because eventually, our solar system, if the world did go bad, eventually it would get to the point to where something would fail. Mm-hmm. I mean, everything's going to fail at some point, but
yeah.
we're definitely...
In which case we couldn't use our fridge, because, if the world is that bad, we wouldn't be able to buy gasoline for the generator either. But then we just wouldn't eat refrigerated foods. We would just kill and eat that day what we needed for that day, or eat our vegetables that, we have. But, man, I hope things don't get that bad in our lifetime. I really do.
We would be foragers.
Scary to think about.
It is.
But you never know. So we're going to be as ready as we can, just in case. And if we never need to use that stuff, then wonderful. I'm okay with that. High altitude. Oh, Angie Becker lives in Ohio. She has wet, heavy snow. Yep.
Yeah,
I know the feeling.
We know that's snow.
And Rebecca says, high altitude. We get snow that usually stays in the mountains. Where I'm at, it usually melts within a few hours. In Nevada, outside of Reno.
Hey, now I can handle that. It snowed just enough to be there for an hour or 2 and then gone.
See, I like
I'd be
the
gravy
snow.
with that.
I think it's so beautiful. I love the wet snow that we get, because of the way it sticks to the trees in the wintertime, and it's so, so pretty, like a magical wonderland. And I like to play in the snow because I'm a 36-year-old child. So I like to build snowmen and throw snowballs at my husband.
And I understand Angie's. I think Angie was the one that said she lived in Ohio.
Yeah.
I understand her snow in winter. I lived in Columbus for 6 years, a little over 6 years when I lived in the city. Yeah. The wind. I mean, we don't have wind down here like they have up there.
No. Well, Ohio doesn't have wind like your kids do. His kids live in Kansas. And they said it is so windy there that they had to pedal their bicycle going downhill because the wind was so strong. That's not for me. And their temperatures get crazy low over there. So, yeah.
And I talked to one of them the day before yesterday. And they lived in Kansas. And they said it was 92 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
They said it's either
frigid cold
or
oven hot.
Very hot.
Yeah. So, yeah. What else can we talk about? We still have one Clyde's garden planter to give away. We've lost a couple viewers. But it is getting late. It's like 9:30.
Oh, is it 9:30?
Yeah. So, maybe we'll jump on another live here in a week or so and give the last one away.
Okay.
So, make sure if you, it was Angie? Yeah. Angie, make sure if you haven't already to go to our Facebook page, The Florences, and send us a message so that we can work out how to get this to you.
And who was the other one?
Your mom. We know where she lives.
Oh.
Obviously.
I couldn't remember.
But yeah, it's 9:30 now, and he has to get up at 3 a.m. to go to work.
Gotta go to work.
So we should probably jump off here, I guess.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming and hanging out with us. We greatly appreciate it. Go back and check out our old videos because we've covered a lot of this stuff in our old videos.
Yeah.
And we've got some, thanks to you and your input, we got some great ideas for some new ones. She's going to have to do a video now on, she's the storage queen, totes and buckets.
You can film it. I'll do all the talking.
Yeah, that's her thing. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's
Hit
been
that
our
thumbs
most
up on the way
successful
out.
live so far. I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's been really nice talking with you guys, and I love the participation.
Hit the thumbs up on the way out. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.